You know, you might be wondering, how do we top a little while ago where you heard an OG of all music and all wrestling matters? That guy that was host of MTV's Headbangers Ball for half a decade, then was actually once upon a time a host for WCW Monday Nitro. Yeah, that guy, Ricky Rackman. How we're going to top it? Well, we've got a guy that never disappoints, never fails to deliver, and he's going to talk about some new places, some new faces, but maybe some familiar ones, and plus, who knows whatever else. And boy, since he hasn't been here in a minute, I'm going to make sure I give him an intro longer than a minute because I haven't got to do one of these in a while. And he is, after all, a Don of Combat. And we're going to be talking about those new places. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style. And you might want to say, since he's the Don of Combat, we're going round two here. We're giving you two for the price of one. And we're going to be doing that the next couple of days. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style and even start the weekend off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show. A man who, like a few celebrities on here, has an IMDb page. You've seen him as an actor. You've seen him as a martial fighter star. You've seen him also in many promo places, including his own EPW. And now in LWE, his name is simply put the of combat. Ajay Harrison. My friend, how are we doing?
Thank you, Tom, for that warm, very special introduction. I am doing absolutely fantastic. I cannot be more excited to be in my favorite place here on Sportswire Radio.
You know, it's occurred to me that you're wearing a hat. I know you've been here, 4, 5, 6 times between solo and appearances where you've come in here, but you wore a hat that when my dad, which was, again, talking decades ago, actually used to wear that same hat. He would wear it, and again, he'd have gray sweatpants on, he'd a bike. He wasn't a big, same looking hat. It was a gray hat. We're talking like, I don't know, 30 years ago, whatever it was, right? And he had a bike, and he used to ride it sometimes, and he'd ride it, up to Flatbush Avenue here in Brooklyn, or, whether it was to get bagels or Dunkin' Donuts, and he wore that hat, the same hat you had. It's a retro hat, and I hadn't brought that up, and now I just did, but you are certainly retro like him and, going out there and doing great things, and let's talk about that. We got a couple of places we have to get to, some new faces and some familiar ones I have no doubt we'll bring up here in a little while, but the Don of Combat, Ajay Harrison, let's talk about a new place that you're at where you, in your words, are taking on some jabronis, and that is the LWE.
Absolutely. It's a whole different ball game over there. It's a lot different than Instagram, get my feet wet. And My first match, I noticed I have three, not one, not two, but three. I call it, if my words, if my memory serves me correctly, I called them enhancement talents.
Yep, yeah, you called them enhancement talent,
Yep.
some other names, and yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Well, and one that's really kind of stuck out to me was Max Davidson, and not because he's anything special, other than he really does look like a human Furby with the face of a midget. If you go and you look at him, and I even referenced it in the Discord,
You did.
if you take I think it's the spotted zebra Furby, from back in the day or something. That's the Furby that Max Davidson looks like. Now, the what we see here
Yes.
is there was a gentleman who had sprouted off at the lip in LWE on a sensitive matter, and he pissed a lot of people off. Not even 24 hours after me coming in here in LWE, and he ended up leaving LWE, and let's just say me and the guys ended up catching him on my way to the Fatal 4-Way. And let's say, for all intents and purposes, he will not be back in LWE or ever again. However, I have an alibi. That business that was attended to, I was in the office of LWE management. Yeah, so yeah. Let's just say we wish him the best, and we hope that he is found soon, and we wish his family their condolences. I guess. Yeah.
Well, look, Happy Trails obviously reminds me of the Van Halen song and Diver Down. Happy Trails to you. I mean, so obviously you started here and, made quite a lot of noise here in LWE so far. And, you got three different opponents. And, there's a guy here in the chat that is in another place that you've been in before where you've held championship gold, and he has his special math. And, if I put that math out there, and I think you know who I'm referring to, your odds, though, in this match would be, 25%, but you're going to tell us why it might be 125% or more, and why you're going to come away with a victory coming up.
Well, now, before, I just wanted to say, spectacular light show, by the way. Always with the holiday season, absolutely. Anyways,
well, some people the holidays never end. I mean, there's some people that they have holiday lights, and it would be Valentine's Day. They had Valentine's Day lights.
Hey, absolutely.
Easter lights. I mean, people do that. I don't know how with their electricity bills in the Northeast, but some people do.
Well, and then sometimes when you got endless amount of money like myself, you can afford those types of bills, you
and I may be well off, but the bills still keep piling in. But nevertheless.
Anyways, when it comes to freak math, because I'm not a dummy, and I know that's exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Fatal 4-Way, it wasn't hard. I went kind of, did my homework, and I realized that the three individuals in front of me, I mean, what was I going to do with these three? I mean, again, the hardest thing I had this week was whether or not I was going to be nice and show them mercy and just end it early and then just go about my days if I had a night off. Or was I going to take my time and enjoy what I was doing? That was for me to decide. I never really had a problem. When it comes to the psychotic freak, again, he's one of the guys I kind of kept my eyes on. And
yes, a man I know very well. A man I know very, very well for a long time. Yes.
He's made the transition over to promo wrestling very well.
Absolutely. And I knew he could do it. Do it.
Oh yeah, I enjoy the things that he puts out. him and I don't know if him and I will ever cross paths or not. That remains to be seen. However, it's one of those things that, regardless of who you are, where you come from, the bigger picture will always remain intact, and the eyes will always cast an overview. We will always be watching. So it doesn't matter if you're new talent. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if it's promo wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's backyard wrestling, indies. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if it's combat. It does not matter where you are, who you are. We always have eyes on you. And that's why I'm very confident in what we do.
Yeah, no, listen, you guys certainly do that. And obviously, Mr. Freak does have a chance at some championship gold and a promotion where you held championship gold. And those can certainly fill in the blanks on where that may be. And if you're out there, do hit the sub button for the Dawn of Combat, because he does have a lot of subs. You have a lot of subs, 50, almost 5,200. So you could be the 52nd 100 member by hitting the sub button. So you could do that. Listen, you got more subs than I was listening to today. There was a show on Sirius Radio, Westwood One, which is the big, for the NFL games, and the two guys that were hosts, and they had, guess what, using Freak Math, they had only a tenth of the subs you have, and they're big national terrestrial stars, and Adam Abdallah and Chris Black with the BLE, and you got 10 times more of the subs in them. So maybe you're going to be on Westwood One next with your next LWE promo. But hit the sub button for the Dawn of Combat, AJ Harrison. Zilla's out there first. Thank you, Zilla. And thank you, Zilla, for saying that. Yes, yes, yes. And I was very happy other people said that. He does want to chime in that you do not have a 25% chance because you were in a fatal four-way. You take 25% to the fourth power. That gives him a 390.625% chance of winning. I think I read that right. Maybe if not, maybe it's a higher ratio.
Yeah,
but
I apologize, Tom, for cutting you off. I think it's a 390,625% chance of winning. This is what this is the one thing I will say when it comes to the Psychotic Freak. He reminds me of like the R-Truth, is when you're trying to be serious, and he's the guy that always comes in and he makes you break character, or he's always the guy that can, make somebody just crack a smile, and he plays he knows how to do it. He knows how to take one thing, because when you take one thing and you run with it, sometimes it gets very stale and it gets old. And you just run it into the ground. And somehow, I don't know how this guy does it.
Yeah.
He takes Freak Math, and every time it never seems to get old. I don't know. I don't know how long he's been doing Freak Math, but
he's been doing it for a while. He's been doing it for a while. It's been,
but for somehow it never seems to get old for me. I don't know if it's the exaggerants within the numbers.
Do you want to recruit him? Maybe. Do you want to sign him? Maybe. I mean, he is here in the chat. I mean, obviously you could potentially do that.
We could if he's open to promoing for EPW is always looking for talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, EPW is always looking for people.
The doors are open. The doors are open, and they're wide open because that Freak Math, and he's been very impressive in that. So obviously, LWE, you're coming in there. You're going to have a very strong start, and you're excited to see what you'll do there. And I'm sure that's going to build into what we'll talk about next, which is your own company. But before I do that, just once again, what you're about to do to your opponent is going to be a sign of many things ahead that you'll do there in the LWE, I would think.
Absolutely. I got the Fatal 4-Way, which that was pretty much a squash match. And then afterwards, I have I believe it's a triple threat ladder match qualifier. And then after I win that, I'm going to go on to climb a ladder and pick my choice of briefcase. And when I select the world title, I'm going to go on and cash in that briefcase to become the champion of LWE. And eventually, I'm going to be awarded at the end of the year as Superstar of the Year. You see, my talents, all of this started because I'm a less than a year still.
Yep.
I came into promo wrestling in August of last year. And when I first came into this, I didn't know what promo wrestling was. I didn't know it was as big as it was. And yet I struggled, in my first few months, but I improved. And now, I mean, I'm just killing it. Anywhere I go, everywhere I go, I am just boom, boom, boom. And I'm just taking people out. And now
you're the Don of Combat. Exactly.
Absolutely.
You're the Don of Combat.
And that's the thing. When you are as talented and as good as I am, Tom, there are people that will align with you. Again, I've said it, for months, and I've said it multiple times here. When I say something, it often, not even often, almost 100% of the time, it comes to fruition. I don't speak anything that is untrue. And when I say that LWE is going to be no different than EPW or anywhere else that I put my feet into, I am going to succeed in LWE, and I'm not going to settle for the low card, the mid card. I'm going to skyrocket straight to the top in LWE.
And that's obviously things that you've talked about in the past, and your instincts and how you can tell the future and you can predict certain things, and obviously I get all that, and which that leads me in to what I'm going to talk about next, which is your own stomping grounds. That is EPW. And I had noticed on your Instagram page, which I'm going to put up here in a minute, you had shared some other people where you had talked about your history and, telling them and predicting what the future would be for them. And that message of maybe for those guys that are the EPW tag team champions, Dario Divine, and that guy Comatose.
Yeah, so Dario and Comatose,
yes,
two very great individuals. I've said it for months. We have talked about the bigger picture, and as a matter of fact, Tom, I've said it here, and I've said it in locker rooms that they were both that they were treated very, very badly by Jerry. I've said it before.
Talked about that here months ago. You talked about
I
that
did.
whole putting Dario in positions and leaving him to hang to dry, and the whole situation with Comatose and what happened there, and then his return. I mean, that was something that you talked about here.
But you know what, Tom? But
yes.
You know what? Before Comatose left, I told him that he was the godfather of wrestling. And I meant that. And there was also a reason besides, because that not only came from the heart, that was a true, it was a passage, so to speak.
So, it was all going to pass. I see.
Yes, it was. Again, it all stems from the bigger picture. All of this was meant to happen. This was by design. So if we can we get Comatose in here, please?
Because I don't know yet if he's here, but I did want to, before you maybe would like to talk to him if he's around. I was wondering, do you want to say anything specifically? And yes, we are live out there for those that may not know. I know a couple of times you've seen me and you've seen pre-recorded shows. I will put it out there. Usually when we get the musicians that come on here, it's pre-recorded. There's a lot of reasons why, but nevertheless, if you had something maybe you did want to say to those in the enterprise, and especially maybe this one guy comatose, and what would you want to say to him directly?
Well, see, Tom, that's the thing, though. There's nothing else more to say.
Nothing more to say. Nothing more.
There is absolutely nothing else more to say because all the talking it's over now. The bigger picture has been completed. The artist he's fine he's fine lined the details. Everything is painted, and all has been all that needed to happen now was the unveiling, and it was just waiting for the right time,
waiting for that moment, waiting for the punchline. I gotcha.
Waiting for the right place, and I would like to hope that I know that Comatose did say that he had the link, and that
I'm sure that I'm gonna see something here shortly. I got you, and
it's one of those things, Tom. I mean, again, you see when you
yes
when you live a certain lifestyle, right? You live by that moral code of silence is golden. So when silence is golden, there are certain things that you keep very quiet.
Yeah.
And with this bigger picture, I mean, of course, there have been clues, and those clues have been hidden in plain sight. And Tom, even on your own show, I don't think you have even picked up on those clues. The breadcrumbs have been.
You haven't. Well, first of all, you haven't been here in a while, so we really haven't had much clues because you haven't been on, and some of the other guys haven't been on because again, different schedules and different things like that. You are here now, and I'm sure that we'll get to it. I do want to say hello before I do a few things. I want to say hello to my lovely friend out there, Anastasia Resenia, all the way out there in San Diego, California. Hopefully, it's warmer than it is here, although it really hasn't been bad this week in the Northeast. I mean, you're a little bit further up than I am in New York City, but this really hasn't been that bad of a week. Yesterday was kind of lousy, but so far it's more normal-like conditions, and I hear 50s are next week, so we'll see about that. I do want to say hello also to the TPW Intercontinental Champion. Yes, we are live, and obviously a certain individual who's also, by the way, challenging another man that I do want to keep in my thoughts and prayers, who's been going through a couple different things. Before we get to maybe something that you'd like to talk about, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to the family of a man you know very well, and Elias the Deranged Chef. Obviously, he's been going through a lot. He's asked for some prayers on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're out there, do give him that. He's been on here a few times of late, so definitely want to give him that. And it's pouring in San Diego, so maybe we don't want to be in San Diego because I don't want no rain. Although it's supposed to rain here in New York City all day tomorrow, so hopefully no rain. But at least it's not snow. But we're supposed to get snow over the weekend. But hopefully you can pour some of that maybe over me in a different way. But we'll leave that at that. And hello to Bam Allen. How you doing, Bam Allen? My buddy from the WVWF who's working on some moves. But I'm going to work on a move here in a minute because I have received word that there's somebody here that wants to talk with you. And I'm going to do that. And whether you like it or not, there's some people that may like it and others that will. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, it is none other than the reigning, defending TPW World Heavyweight Champion of one half of the EPW Tag Team Champions, who makes his long-awaited return here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. That is the King of the West and the GOAT of BYW, Comatose. My friend, how are we doing?
We're a little perplexed, Tom. A lot of things have been happening as of recently within the promo wrestling world, and I know that everybody's been paying very, very close attention. I'd expect nothing less from something as monumentally shifting as what I have done in that match with Maxwell Mangione and what I have done within my celebration for this TPW World Heavyweight Championship right here. But The question is why, of course, right? Why? Why do I feel like it's time to move on to greener pastures? Why do I feel like it is time to end the Enterprise?
Okay. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Now, you see, here's the deal. People think that maybe that this is just a little hiccup, that maybe that brothers are just fighting as they usually would in a family. But I would like to reassure everybody that this is no spout. This is no little hiccup. I am done with Jerry Main. I am done being under the thumb of Jerry Main. I am done having people behind my back and to my face tell me that I need anybody to have any sort of success, no matter where it is or what I do. I have a long, charted career in both backyard wrestling and promo wrestling. And ever since I came into promo wrestling, I have been underlooked and undervalued. And I just want to let everybody know that that time is done. It is time for the era of the King of the West to truly begin. You saw a glimpse of my dominance, and by God, there was a goddamn reason that I went away for a month. And it is like Mr. Harrison is saying, the fine lines on the Picasso that you have seen before you, they are being completed. You see, it was always my plan to come back and have the greatest match of TPW history. It was always my plan to look into my crystal ball, and every time that I see something and say it out of my mouth, make it come true. And now I am telling you right now that the Enterprise is over. I don't need Jerry Main. I don't need Dario Divine. I don't need Mr. King of Smoke. You want to know why? Because when I was gone, without me, the gears got clogged up and they became an unfunctionable machine at a goddamn arcade.
Well, I mean, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, Comatose, the man who has that TPW World Heavyweight Championship, also is a part of the EPW Tag Team Champions. You just said that the name Dario Divine, you don't need him, but your history with him.
Tom. I think you're missing what's being brought up here. You see, Jerry Main has held these two back. You see, Jerry Main is exactly what I have said since day one. Jerry Main is the one that has needed Comatose to stay relevant, and Dario Divine.
Comatose, that is very, very true. That is very, very true. Absolutely.
When those two were tag team champions before Comatose stepped away for a while,
yep,
those two dominated the tag division. When Comatose stepped away, it was Jerry Main that was eating the pin every single time. Not Dario Divine. Dario Divine held his own. When Jerry Main was needed, where was he at? He failed. And I said it every time. However,
you have said it months ago, but you did mention a bunch of names there, and the Enterprise, just to confirm, though. I mean, just to confirm, from your vantage point, champ, the Enterprise is up in smoke?
They can do whatever they want in their little Emerald Tower. They can have all the meetings that they want to. They can draw up all the little charts on their boards all they want to. But what I am saying is that Comatose is no longer a part of that. Their cash cow has ran dry. And now he is going on to make his own empire. He's going on to make his own big moves. He's going on to take this community by the balls. And I can guarantee you right now that you are going to see, as I left for a month, now that I am leaving permanently, you will see the dismantle of the Enterprise. And like you said, Tom, it will be up in smoke.
I mean, I don't even know. Listen, you're the guy right now. You're the man on top. And while they may do things, but they can't do them without the centerpiece. I mean, you're the stir that straws the drink. I mean, you're the guy that you've put all this together and you being that centerpiece, and without you, I don't know what their future would be. I mean, we think about, look at all the sports history, right? Michael Jordan, when he left the Bulls, we saw what happened, right? I mean, we saw what, God rest his soul, Kobe, when he left the Lakers, right? They went through a rebuilding period. LeBron, when he left to Cleveland, how did that work out for him? He had to come back for him to. So you're basically saying Comatose, right, leaves the enterprise, and it's almost in some ways it could be the same outcome.
It'll be the exact same outcome, but the only difference between me and those Lakers is that this enterprise isn't going to find their next superstar to be able to carry them to a championship. You see, they're going to be more like the Chicago Bulls as of now. They're going to be struggling. They're going to be tanking. They're going to be living in the draft and praying to God that they find a talent that they can build into their image to be able to take them to the promised land. But once they get to that promised land, you bet your ass I'll be on the other side of that door waiting for them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. You've heard it here. And this goes back to nearly 4 months ago when the Dawn of Combat, Ajay Harrison, had first come on here. And he had talked about the enterprise. And he specifically had talked about Jerry Maine. He had said that then to Dario Divine, and well, Dario Divine's not here. So who knows what's going on through his mind? We saw famously when we had that big live stream where almost everybody you could think of in promo wrestling was here. And they hated Draquan. It was supposed to be the Enterprise this, the Enterprise that, but really, that wasn't the plan that Comatose had. That wasn't what he had in mind.
Tom, it was all, again, we had everybody fooled. This was all by design. This was all placed months ago. We just had to wait for the right timing. And all this was not our fault. This was all Jerry's fault. If Jerry would have checked his ego and put Comatose and Dario at the forefront, like I have done every single time.
You talked about that here in many episodes. You had talked about showing Dario, and we saw what happened afterwards. Dario, well, he lost championship gold. He certainly went through a slump.
And who was there for him, Tom?
I mean, you were here on previous episodes, and you were there in previous stuff that you can see on the Instagram pages of both individuals, and you were there certainly pointing out those things, whereas Mr. Jerry Maine, well, I mean, well, you can figure out the answer. He was, well, up in smoke.
Who was there for Comatose? Who was there for Comatose during his return?
Well, I'll even remind you of something. You remember when Comatose had announced here that he was going on that sabbatical? He was going on that 1 month sabbatical. And
who was there for him then?
Ajay Harrison, the Dawn of Combat. You showed up. You showed up in support, in solidarity of now the man that holds that heavyweight championship. Whereas Mr. Jerry Maine, well, I don't know where he was. Do you?
No, but I could tell you where he is now. You see, Mr. Jerry Maine, he's somewhere in a hotel room, in a red room at the Red Wolf Inn, locked deep inside of that hotel room, contemplating what he is going to make his next plan be. He's contemplating that, is he really going to want to walk out of that hotel room as the man Jerry Maine? Or is Mr. Jerry Maine going to want to stay put in that hotel room with his lackluster career and sit there and marvel over the fact that he got a win over the Purge recently? Let's give a round of applause for such a lackluster comeback that he had to display to even try to get an inkling of relevance off of my back, off of my name.
Wait,
how disrespectful.
I'm sorry, Comatose, hold on. Wasn't that same victory that Jerry Maine got over the Purge? Wasn't that victory handed to him by the Purge?
It was handed to him by the Purge. And that is why I say it is so disrespectful. Because he made this big fuss and this big hype about how he's coming back, how he's going to be a single star, how he's taking the world by the balls, and he's coming back to take it all. And then what does he do? What does he do? He takes a handout And then as soon as I leave, he destroys the morale of the goddamn enterprise that me and Dario Divine built brick by brick, sweat by sweat, blood by blood, and tear by tear, and continued to take credit for him being the founding father and the originator of what that enterprise is. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand it when I was sitting on top of that mountain, charging up like a goddamn Super Saiyan, waiting to come back and blast the competition away. I couldn't stand watching him take all of this credit and then make all of these excuses for why he had been failing in my absence.
So
You
let
see,
me ask you this question though. Let me ask you though, because we've always talked about Jerry Mayne and the past of Jerry Mayne and what you've just talked about there, champ, and I guess then maybe I should say has Father Time passed on Jerry Mayne and that maybe he can't hang with guys like yourself. He can't hang maybe with guys like Dario Divine, and maybe that's why he hung on to you guys and hung on as long as he did, and really he's not the same guy he was because the talent is what it is. What do you say to that?
Comatose, if I may, I apologize. I just want to say I think, and I deeply apologize for this. Jerry Mayne got too damn comfortable, is what it is. Too damn comfortable in thinking that he was the one on top. We are talking about Comatose, who came into this game and fucking ran it.
Yeah, he came. Listen. He came from a different world and walked right in here, and we see what this man has done. We've seen the competition and how he's battled them. There is no question that in the backyard, we know what Comatose has done. But to come in here the way he did,
for that, Comatose. Please
oh no, you're completely fine. But it just sickens me because what people don't realize is, yes, I came in and I ran this game, but I didn't just do that. I made history. I want people to sit here and actually think in their head, how many people have come from my world and gotten to my position in being at the very top of a promo wrestling company? I'll tell you how many. Zero. Absolutely none. Not James Taylor, not Anthony Steele, not a single goddamn person has done what I've done. Not a single goddamn person has been at the top of the backyard wrestling game and the top of the promo wrestling game. And now I think it is time for the fans to finally wake the hell up and realize what they are seeing in front of them. I don't just come into this calling myself the King of the West. I live it. I am it. I am now the royalty that I was trying to convince people so long back when I first came back, even into backyard wrestling. I am no longer a convincer. I am the man that you must now convince that you are worthy of my goddamn time. That you are worthy of standing in front of me and being in the presence of truly and the only GOAT of wrestling.
well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like Comatose has told the world that the Enterprise is no mas for him. And as Comatose goes, it would seem as the Enterprise goes, I have some comments and I want to get to them. Steven Storm is in the house, and we've had plenty of storms here tonight because, Comatose has just told the world that he's finito. He's done with the Enterprise, and I am sure that that's going to certainly be a point. Good thing you're humble. Also, we have somebody that would like to come on from your group and maybe say a few words. Would you like that opportunity?
I don't know who that is.
That's
We have Draquan has messaged and said he would like to get in on this conversation.
Oh.
I mean,
I don't mind if Draquan comes on here because I have no problem with Draquan. But a little backstory on Draquan, actually. That's awesome that he wants to come on here. Let me tell everybody something about Draquan coming into the Enterprise. You see, back a couple months ago, there was a certain tag team match for the World Tag Team Champions in TPW. And it was Elias the Deranged and Maxwell Mangione versus the Enterprise. And
We
what
talked about
happened in that match? What happened was that Draquan came and he solidified us staying the tag team championships. But what to the tag team champions rather. But what
Yeah.
people don't know about that situation is that Jerry Main wanted nothing to do with Draquan being in the Enterprise whatsoever. And if it wasn't for me making the ultimate decision of bypassing Jerry Main's decision and inserting Draquan into the Enterprise, we might not have those belts right now.
that Jerry Main, boy, that certainly seems to be
Hey, Tom,
the center of attention. Go ahead.
and before we let Draquan come in here,
Okay, I'm going to send him a link while we do that because he asked.
of course, I'd like to say this, that you're not looking at just two people that you're not looking at two people that have two common goals here. You are looking at two people that are banded together. All right. You are looking at two people that have come together not only as a tag team. All right. This is a family. This is now because the Enterprise is done, it's over, it's gone, it's burned to the ground. This is now the era of the blacklist.
Whoa!
You've seen the hints.
I've seen those pictures.
I've
seen those pictures. Yep.
You have seen only myself on camera. You have seen what I have done to Elias before the amputation match.
Yes.
You have heard me speak to people off camera.
Yes.
Those people have not been revealed. Well, there you go. There you have it. We are the blacklist, and that right there is the godfather of the blacklist, and I am the Don.
Whoa, the Don and the Godfather. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been spelled out in the Don of Combat. AJ Harris had made a point a few minutes ago. It was all going to come together. The pieces were all going to come together here. And he's talked about it. He had laid the groundwork for it. Comatose comes on here and tells the world that Enterprise no more. And really, he's been biding his time in the shadows, waiting for that moment to tell the world that the Enterprise, well, like many enterprises these days, considering the tough times we have, well, they're falling by the wayside. But it's now about a blacklist. And that blacklist, well, is blacklisted the Enterprise, but apparently there's going to be some smoke, and it's about to come up here right now, live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and that is Comatose, your once upon a time teammate in the Enterprise, Draquan, your Continental Champion.
There we go.
Yeah.
What's good, gentlemen? What's good? What's good? Comatose, AJ Harrison,
How you doing?
Sportzwire.
Yes.
How you doing, Con? It's been a while, huh?
It has been a while. It has been a while. And I'm glad that Comatose is here. And I'm glad that you all talking about the Enterprise's future and what has gone and what has happened. Now, again, I have no quarrels with Comatose because we have done our battles. We have mutual respect for each other because he's won some, I've won some. So therefore, he has bested me and I have bested him. So therefore, there's the respect that I have for the new World Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to the future of the Enterprise, yes, Comatose, you are absolutely right. Jerry Main did not want no piece of me to be in this group. He did not want to see what I could do for this faction. Now, granted, ever since I've been a part of this faction, I have done nothing more but win. Not only have I beaten Jahil's ass, not once but twice within a 2-week span, but I've defended and retained my Intercontinental Championship against a man who's somewhat finally getting a chance at a World Heavyweight Championship in Trey Cross, which is very funny. But again, I digress on that situation. But when it comes down to Jerry Main and the situation of the future of the Enterprise, Everyone knows that I came into this business just like Comatose and made a statement. I became United States champion in 1 month's time and ran with that belt for damn near 10 months. So I can say I've done what Comatose has done. I challenged for the TPW championship not once, not twice, and not only but the World Heavyweight Championship. I may have fallen short of those titles, but again, I made my statement, I made my mark, and I made my case that the King of Smoke is here to do what I've done since I stepped foot in this company, and that is smoke out the bitches that basically been placed in front of me. So when it comes to the enterprise and what Draquan does things on his own times, on his own terms, and he has done that all day, every day. And quite frankly, when it comes to the enterprise and Draquan, the partnership that we had, is basically what we had because all day, every day, one person is in one person's corner, and I've been in my corner since I stepped foot here in this company. So if Davario and Divine and Jerry May want to continue on with this enterprise love session, then they can do that. Because all day, every day, I will respect the world heavyweight champion. If he needs my help, I got his back. Trust me, all day, every day. And I'm pretty sure he'll do the same for me because that's mutual respect between champions. But at the end of it all, at the end of the day, the Intercontinental Champion is going to do what the Intercontinental Champion does, and that is erase the history of Maxwell Mangione's bullshit and basically make this title what it has always need to be, a consistent shown up base title that is truly just as prestigious as the World Heavyweight Championship.
So, Dre, let me just make sure I'm piecing this together right. Are you saying then, are you leaving the Enterprise?
I have always been my own man. The Enterprise, it was only one person for me joining, and that was Comatose.
Now,
Comatose is the main reason that I wanted to join the Enterprise in the first place because I respect the man to the point to where hell, where's do we need to do any more battles? No, because again, we've shown what we can do and we displayed the story, the rivalry, and quite frankly, the partnership that may continue. If it doesn't, then quite frankly, again, we go our own battles, we go our own way, and we do our own thing. But if we cross paths, then of course we know, and I know we're gonna throw hands. But at the end of the day, may the best man win.
Let me ask you though a question because you guys seem to be on the same page. Comatose brought up the point that hey, listen, he wanted you here. He wanted you here, and Jerry Maine, obviously, well, he's front and center of all this blame. So in a way, I gotta bring it back to him. And is the ball in Dario Divine's court? Because I get the point about Jerry Maine, but Dario Divine's not here, and I would have to say, really, what's the future of Dario Divine then?
You know, there's an open, and no pun intended to the Invitation faction, but Comatose, of course, you being the Godfather, I always value my right-hand man's opinion. I believe that there's always an open seat at the table for Mr. Dario Divine, isn't there?
There is always, in my world, an open place in my arms for Dario Divine because I'm going to speak the truth here. Dario Divine is the only reason that I stayed in the Enterprise for as long as I did. Dario Divine will always and forever be my brother in arms, no matter what. Now, if he takes what I have done personally and he wants to take action on it, just like my friend the King of Smoke over here, I have no problem throwing hands and creating another all-time great match with said Dario Divine. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I can guarantee there are people out there chomping to bits to see Comatose versus Dario Divine in a singles match just one time in their life. But if that's not the case, I would love to continue to defend our EPW Tag Team Champions and our TPW Tag Team Champions. I would love to continue to dominate the tag team scene everywhere that we go. Because the fact of the matter is this. Whether he sees it right now or not, he has already been blacklisted from the Enterprise. And now all he has to do is take a seat at the table.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, tonight definitely, I think I've got the point that one man is definitely blacklisted. He is blacklisted. Another guy, well, the ball is in his court, and Mama Comatose is definitely liking what she sees here when it comes to the TPW Intercontinental Champion. And boy, AJ Harrison did say he had a plan. The Dawn of Combat did say he had a plan a long time ago. And I mean, the pieces have all come together. They've come together here, and I think it's fascinating. Once again, Jerry Mayne, nowhere to be found, and Dario Divine, maybe he's questioning where his future is. Where does it go from here? I don't know. There is tag team championship still involved, but AJ Harrison, you've pulled quite a rabbit out of the hat. You got one champion, another champion here.
Again, Tom, it was easy because of my observance. All of this was because of how these gentlemen were treated. And I am a nice guy. I'm only a bad guy when you make me a bad guy. Comatose and I, we went to war.
Oh, yep, we've seen that here. Yep.
And I've earned his respect.
Oh, yeah. And that is exactly why I'm here. Because you went to war with me and we fought tooth and nail. Got at each other's throats. And now I have such an immense respect for you, like I have such immense respect for the King of Smoke over here, that I feel like it is time to just shut the entire industry down once and for all.
If we want something, Tom, we're going to take it. It doesn't matter where it's at or what it is. If we want it, we're going to go in there and we are going to take it. It doesn't matter, like I said earlier, if it's backyard wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's here in promo wrestling. It doesn't matter. If we have our eyes set on it, more than likely it's coming to the blacklist.
Well, I'll tell you what, tonight, you definitely have proved that, and there's quite a lot to get into here, and obviously, if you're out there, do hit the sub button for AJ Harris. Also, Draquan, bring that smoke and go follow him on Instagram, because he's come in here and dropped a few bombs, to say the least, and Comatose is out there, and people know him, and he'll be back out there. But Eli Bowman wants to say this: I've never drank before, but would you mind shipping me some of that exclusive AJ Harrison special juice?
You know what, Bowman? You caught me in a good mood. Why not? I'll do that for you. But back on topic here. You know, Tom, again, I want to direct a special message directly to Jerry. Jerry, it didn't have to be this way. You know, you come in to this business and you think that you're on top of the world, and you think that you can just be so protected, and you think that you run everything, and that's your problem. You let your ego get in your way. You think that you are the leader. I am a very generous man. I don't treat Comatose as an underling. Although he is the Godfather and I am the Don, he is still my equal. Much like Draquan, I have a lot of respect for the man. He has done very well. Yeah, sure, we have teamed up and that may be paying out. But the fact of the matter is, he went into the Enterprise. And what happened, Jerry? He left your ass. Why? Because he has enough respect for Comatose, because they see what I have said this whole time. Again, Jerry, you have fallen because you're so damn stupid that you have proven my point every single time. So all I got to do is sit back and speak the truth. And all everybody else has to do is play damage control and play stupid and try to justify and rationalize your dumbass actions. And what happens? You fall for it every time. And it fools everybody. It fools all the sheep. And then it all leads to this moment. And boom, the blacklist is unveiled and the shock value just explodes.
Shock and awe. Listen, they always say shock and awe. You guys have definitely done that. And, before I move on and obviously let you guys maybe get a few final words in here, and it all came together. It all came together with the pieces because it's the Blacklist Day on all Sportswire radio platforms.
Look at that, gentlemen. The blacklist is formed, and the day that it's formed is the day that we get acknowledged.
We're going to remember that day, February 19th. February 19th, 2026. Yesterday I was talking with this guy, Ricky Rackman, right? He was the guy of MTV's Headbangers, but we were talking about the story of, it was the 25th anniversary of the death of Dale Earnhardt. Obviously a great race car driver, a legend, but what maybe happens one day, another day, hope springs eternal, because on February 19th, 2026 is the day that we're going to remember. Just like when they say they remember the Alamo, well, you're going to remember in the wrestling world, February 19th, 2026, the day that the Blacklist has formed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are...
Before I let the world champion and AJ Harrison have their time, before I get out and enjoy this lovely grade A blunt that we always smoke in the smoke session here.
Copy of it, yeah.
Now, I just want to give a little backstory real quick. Like when I came into this company of TPW, there was nobody. I had no help. I had no allies. I had no alliances. It was always just me, the king of smoke. Now, granted, I am the one that basically brought the Black Packs to the lovely TPW, and now that Jerry Mayhem, we've had our differences the whole time through, just advertising just to get by. Now that I held a grudge to, because again, I don't step on no one else's product. I don't step on anyone else's toes. If you step on mine, best believe I'm going to step back. And that's what it has been for majority of the whole time I've been in TPW. But all I had to do was basically speak to the World Heavyweight Champion, King of the West, yes, Comatose. And I had to speak to Dario Divine just to pull them aside and was like, hey, I have this idea. And only they knew what I was talking about, because they knew. They clicked. Draquan is a lone star here. He's done everything by himself with no help. But with him in our corner backing us up, best believe the star quality that myself, World Heavyweight Champion Comatose, and Dario Divine, the star quality is out this roof. It's unparalleled. It's unstoppable. It's to the point to where you can't even touch it with your bare hands. That's powerful shit. Granted, all I had to do was let Jerry Mayne's guard down. And what did he do? He let his guard down. And now, what happened? I took the same knife that he wanted to stab me with and fucked him up.
Oh my God! He used the bombs, because bombs have been dropped tonight on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And maybe you're looking at LeBron, Wade, and Bosch. Maybe you're looking at that next great trio. Maybe you're seeing stars born. Like I said, remember the day, ladies and gentlemen, February 19th, 2026, when a Blacklist was born and championship gold is brought to the forefront. And the truth has been revealed as the plan has been coming to fruition for weeks. And the weeks and weeks where the moment came on the only platform that they could do this, to announce to the world that the Enterprise has been blacklisted, as a blacklist has risen. A phoenix has risen out of those ashes. And you see now some of the very best in the promo wrestling world and some of the very best in the wrestling world form together to stop what the Enterprise once tried, but also show that they, ladies and gentlemen, are unstoppable. And nothing, I mean nothing, will get in these men way in what they do. And if you are going to try to get in their way, well, you very well may be blacklisted like, well, ex-Major League Baseball Players Association head Tony Clark. Yeah.
Well, Tom, I think that it is time for me to give you a little clip for you to post. You see, Dario, I want you to sit at this table with us. I want you to enjoy this glory. I want you to be able to continue to put Sportswire radio certificates on your wall. I don't want you to be in the back of everybody's mind. I don't want you to be the guy that everybody forgets. So that is why AJ Harrison has pulled out a seat for you and is waiting patiently for you to sit there. But that is not the clip that I think that Tom needs. You see, what the clip that I think that Tom needs is this. You see, Mr. Jerry Mayne, you came back swearing and promising to the world that you were going to take everything by the balls, that you were going to take the promo wrestling game by the balls and take everything by storm. So here I am now. Whenever you decide to come out of your little red hotel room having a midlife crisis, I want you to know this. You don't need to fight for a #1 contendership. This belt right here is waiting for you, and I am waiting for you to make that main event quality match that I have been waiting for my entire career. Comatose versus Jerry Mayne for the TPW World Heavyweight Championship. I want you to pull your balls out of that woman's purse and come see a true king in action.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen! It went from an Enterprise to, well, now, if the King of the West and the GOAT of wrestling, as he's just said, gets his way, Jerry Mayne will be going once from ahead of an Enterprise to now up in smoke and blacklisted. If Comatose gets his way and has that match for his TPW World Heavyweight Championship, fellas, the world seems to be yours on this day because it's your day, ladies and gentlemen, on February the 19th, 2026.
Tom, the funniest thing about all of this, and I don't know if you know this about me or not, and I'm trying very hard to work on it. It doesn't seem to work for me very well. I hold grudges. I hold them very near and dear to my heart. And Comatose is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. The Enterprise at one time was looking for a fourth guy. And in that search, I have approached the Enterprise. And I threw my name in that hat. And during that search, I was getting regular updates. And I got cast aside. And on the surface, I played it cool. All right, no problem. I continued to do business with the Enterprise. Now, much like Draquan, I wasn't wanted in the Enterprise, not because of Dario Divine, not because of Comatose, but because of Jerry Mayne. Because Jerry Mayne didn't think that I had what it took to be in the Enterprise. And so because of that, I held that grudge. And now look what happened. I plotted and I planned to tear down and rip apart the Enterprise. All of that was by design. When they cast and they brought in Ryan Cage, and that whole mess.
Yep.
Who did Ryan Cage side with at the end of all of that? He came with me. Sensitives, but that's besides the point. After that, what happened? Fast forward, look at Comatose and I. Great relationship. We built a brotherly bond. Same thing with Dario and I. Everything has been planned perfectly. Now, I won't speak for Ryan Cage. Ryan Cage and I, we're on good terms. We don't talk as much as, I would prefer. But that's besides the point. It's all about the bonds you make here. The money, it comes, and it's nice to have. But loyalty is what it's about. And when you have the loyalty and you check your ego at the door, that's when you know who your true people are. And Comatose has proven time and time again he can check his ego at the door, and he knows, number one, he knows how good he is, but he can also put those other people that he knows, because he knows my talents, he knows how good I am. And because of that mutual respect, we have that mutual loyalty for each other. And that's why we came together while Jerry Main sat there and he abandoned Comatose. He abandoned Comatose, he abandoned Dario. And so while Dario sits there and he has a decision to make, and I don't think it's very hard for him to make. Again, the decision for Comatose, I believe, was made long ago, but it was all about the timing. It was all about when the time was right. So, as an actor myself, why not test somebody else? Let's see how good Comatose's acting skills were. And he played the part. He played it perfect. Hollywood to its finest. We fooled that man. We fooled that toddler, Jerry Main. And now look at him. He sits in his hotel room, whining and crying at a crumpled enterprise. All because of himself. And it didn't have to be that way.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, certainly a lot has been revealed tonight, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about this. And yes, salutations and hello to everybody out there, and just a lot has been said here. You've been wanting guys like Draquan, Comatose, and Ajay Harrison back on Sportswire. The only thing they come back, well, it seems like that enterprise is up in smoke, and I think the ball is really in Dario Divine's court. I really think right now he's basically kind of in the middle right now. That's going to be the big question, and where does Dario Divine go from here? You've said where Jerry Main is, but I'll tell you what, time will certainly tell, and just what an evening. And if you're out there, it is one more time the Blacklist Day on all Sportswire radio platforms. And I guess, fellas, before we sign off here, and again, we're honored to have on the TPW Intercontinental Champion Draquan, the King of Smoke, and also Comatose, who I know will be out there in a ring one of these days very soon in BTW. He is the TPW World Heavyweight Champion, one half of the EPW Tag Team Champion, and of course, the Don of Combat, the man who sits at the head of the table in EPW. And I am sure we're going to be talking a lot about this ahead. But do you fellas have any final words before I think a lot of people digest what we've found out tonight?
Comatose, I'll let you go first.
Well, it is simple as this. Like my friend Ajay Harrison has been saying, this decision was made a very, very long time ago. This decision was calculated. This decision was final once I was fed up. And people have been asking me why I took that sabbatical. I think the answer is pretty clear now.
Obviously, no, I think it speaks for itself. And I want to go back to that because we had talked about that a little while ago, is that Ajay Harrison was here, and he was here and showed support and solidarity for your sabbatical. And Jerry Mayne did not do that. When Dario Devine was here, the first time he came on, Jerry Mayne was nowhere to be found. Ajay Harrison was here. We have seen this time and time again. When it's come to guys like Comatose, certainly, and Dario Devine, and even when Draquan was here, when we had that whole big stream, there was no Jerry Mayne. And I think that it seems to be the recurring theme. And obviously, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And obviously, that's why you've got to follow Comatose and you've got to follow EPW. We'll put the EPW Instagram link up here in a minute. But Draquan Champ, I mean, great to see you. And definitely what a unexpected turn of events. Maybe, maybe not. And Rocky's in the house. Rocky did want to say hi. There is Rocky, the man, the myth, the leader of TPW. And obviously, Rocky, if you're hearing this, the Enterprise seems to be no more. Comatose has left. Draquan seems to have left as well. And who knows what Dario Devine thinks. And Jerry Mayne, well, he's got a bag of a few things he's doing in the hotel room. And, Draquan, I'm going to give you the floor. Anything else you want to say?
I just want to say this before anyone thinks outside of their asses. I'm no suck up. I'm no person, no dummy, no idiot. I'm no sellout. I'm a man that knows competition and respect those who have beaten me in this lovely company. Ajay Harrison has done it. Comatose has done it. Dario Devine has done it. I respect those who have beaten me. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to, again, throwing hands in this lovely blacklist cup, in this blacklist group, again, brothers do fight, but there's mutual respect at the end. So before anyone thinks that I'm blowing smoke up anyone else's ass, just know you stepped in those smoke sessions with me, but how does it turn out? Simple. Put my foot up in it. And the famous slogan and the catchphrase that I make famous all day, every day. All you got to do when it's done is to enjoy it, love it, like it, and live with it.
You know what? And we're living it and liking it right now. We're loving seeing the TPW Intercontinental Champion and the TPW World Heavyweight Champion here on Sportswire Radio. Follow Draquan on Instagram. Definitely, he's the king of smoke for a reason. And I'm going with you, Ajay Harrison. You're the orchestrator. You're the ringleader of this. You're the Don after all. And I'm passing the baton to you for some final words on a rather memorable episode with some certainly unexpected turn of events. So I pass the baton to you, sir.
This is just the beginning. You got Comatose here, who is not only the TPW World Heavyweight Champion, but he also holds a very important briefcase in EPW that allows him to cash in for the EPW Championship. And then you take into the account that he's going to be in the BTW ring very soon.
Very soon. Very soon, I've heard. Very soon.
Because of that alone, Comatose, I would like to see you bring that BTW championship home to the blacklist. You are the godfather of wrestling for a reason, and I would really like to see more gold being brought to the blacklist. I'm going to do the very same thing. See, I am the KCC champion.
Yes, you are.
And I hold it down. I am going on 1 year. March 1st, 1 year for me as the KCC champion. And I am not done yet. In promo wrestling, I am going to skyrocket in LWE, and I'm going to capture the world championship over there and in countless other places. The blacklist will be the most dominant and most decorated faction to ever grace wrestling, period. Promo wrestling, backyard wrestling, it doesn't matter where we step foot, wherever we decide to enter, we are going to take what we want.
Well, you know what? They used to say you always can't get what you want from the Rolling Stones. Well, right now, I think at this moment, it seems like the blacklist are going to look to prove the opposite of that then some. And this has been quite a show tonight. And obviously, we want to thank Draquan for showing up. And AJ Harrison, his body seems to be, well, it's A-OK. And he's the Don of Combat. And it's just a day in the office with him. And that's why we're certainly excited about what's ahead. And I'm sure we'll talk more about it. It's the Blacklist Day. And fellas, boy, certainly what a return for the two of you. And you threw Draquan in there. And I guess time will tell with that guy, Dario Divine, but certainly Jerry Main. He seems like his plans have gone up in smoke because this plan was certainly quite a plan that was orchestrated between you two for the better part of 3 months. And fellas, thank you so much for your return. I look forward to seeing you back on here soon, and I have no doubt that Jerry Main will be blacklisted if he accepts your challenge, Comatose and TPW, and the ball is most certainly in the court of one Dario Divine. And I guess he may be the prettiest problem around, but right now he's got a problem that he's got to figure out and how to solve it, and time will tell. But fellas, thank you as always, and I look forward to seeing you here very soon.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, that is the Dawn of Combat, the KCC champion, AJ Harrison. Also check him out on IMDb, YouTube. Hit a sub for him also. That is the King of the West, the GOAT of BYW at all of wrestling, and he made some interesting points about some other guys. I'm not going to go down that road. He said that. You can check that previous comment he made about other guys in promo and backyard underground wrestling, and I'll let people decide on that. But he is right now the TPW World Heavyweight Champion, the EPW Briefcase Holder, and also one half of the EPW Tag Team Champions Comatose. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally with all music and all wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportswire Radio, like, share, and subscribe. We'll also be back here twice tomorrow. I'll be back here leading off with Anthrax Double X. He'll be wrestling this guy, Mickey Vargas, who's unkillable for the X-Brand Wrestling Championship. Then I'll have on Dave Jameson, who's wrestled KJ Orso right afterwards. And if you'd like to check out my interview with Ricky Rackman, the host of Headbangers Ball, that's up as well. But until then, thank you so much, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all music and all